It was a quiet evening in a small town, the kind of night where the stars seemed to stretch endlessly across the sky, each one a tiny point of light in the vast, infinite expanse of the universe. Inside a cozy little bookstore, Sophia, a young woman in her late 20s, found herself inexplicably drawn to a dusty corner she had never noticed before. The shelves were lined with books on philosophy, spirituality, and mysticism, but one book, in particular, stood out: The Secrets of Universal Consciousness. As she pulled the book from the shelf, she felt a rush of energy, like an invisible thread pulling her in. She had no idea why, but she had to read it. The moment she opened the first page, the words seemed to whisper to her from across time, as if the book had been waiting for her. Suddenly, the bell of the door jingled. An elderly man walked into the store, his presence serene, almost ethereal. He had a calm. As he approached the counter, he gave Sophia a knowing glance. "May I help you?" she asked, still holding the book. "I believe it is you who are seeking help," he said, his voice like a distant echo of something ancient. His gaze lingered on her, as though he could see beyond her outward appearance, straight into the depths of her soul. "I see you are searching for answers, but you don't know what you're really seeking yet." Sophia frowned, feeling both intrigued and a little uneasy. "What do you mean?" He smiled gently, his eyes twinkling. "You are reading about Edgar Cayce, aren't you?" Her heart skipped a beat. "Yes, how did you know?" "I know many things," he said cryptically. "But what you need to understand is that there is more to life than what your eyes can see." Cayce spoke of a universal consciousness that connects us all. It's not just a concept, it's the very fabric of reality itself. Sophia stared at him in confusion. Universal consciousness. The man nodded. "Everything, Sophia, every thought, every emotion, every action is connected through a higher, divine mind. It's what you seek, even if you don't yet realize it." Before she could respond, the man turned and walked toward the door. "Remember, you are always searching for yourself in the universe. Don't forget to look within." And with that, he was gone, vanishing into the night as mysteriously as he had appeared. His words lingered in Sophia's mind long after he had left. The following days felt like a blur, and Sophia couldn't shake the strange encounter with Mr. Gray. She dove deeper into the books about Edgar Cayce, absorbing his teachings on universal consciousness, the Akashic Records, and spiritual healing. The more she read, the more she felt something stirring within her, a quiet calling she couldn't ignore. She decided to try something Cayce had recommended: meditation. The first time she sat down in the quiet of her apartment, closing her eyes and focusing on her breath, she felt a sense of calm she had never known. It was as though the noise of the world had melted away, and in that silence she could feel something else, a presence, an energy, something vast and eternal. As she continued her practice, she started to experience vivid dreams. Each night, she found herself standing in a cosmic library, a place Cayce described in his readings as the Akashic Records. The library was filled with endless books, glowing softly in the darkness. Each book contained the life of every soul that had ever existed, and Sophia could feel herself drawn to one in particular. She reached out and opened it. As the pages turned, she saw images of lives she had never lived, faces she had never known. Yet they felt like her own. She saw herself as a healer, a teacher, a wanderer. Every life was connected, each experience feeding into the next, like threads woven together in the grand tapestry of existence. In that moment, she understood she was part of something much bigger than she had ever imagined. The questions, the confusion, it was part of a larger cosmic design, and she had a role to play. this wasn't just about her. It was about the entire universe awakening. Sophia woke up from her dream with a feeling of clarity. She wasn't just reading about spiritual truths. She was being shown them directly. She realized that this was her calling to understand the universal consciousness, and to help others discover it too. Days turned into weeks, and Sophia's journey deepened. She continued meditating and studying Cayce's teachings, and slowly she began to notice changes in herself. She felt more connected to the world around her, more compassionate, more at peace. Her relationships, once strained with family and friends, began to heal. She started seeing the world through different eyes, seeing the divine in everything, in a stranger's smile, in the rustling leaves of a tree, in the hum of the city. One evening, after a particularly deep meditation, Sophia felt something shift within her. Her body became warm, a soft, radiant energy began to flow through her, and she knew instinctively that she was tapping into a healing power. Her hands tingled with an almost electric sensation, and for the first time in her life, she understood what spiritual healing truly meant. She recalled one of Cayce's most powerful statements: the body is a reflection of the mind and soul. When you align yourself with the universal consciousness, you can heal not just your body, but your spirit as well. Sophia's mind cleared, and a deep sense of peace washed over her. She wasn't just healing her body. She was healing her soul, reconnecting with the universal flow of energy that runs through all of existence. As she began to heal herself, she realized that the energy she had tapped into wasn't just for her. It was for everyone. She had the ability to help others access this healing energy, to bring them into alignment with their higher selves. It was then that she understood the universal consciousness was not just an idea to be studied. It was something that lived within her, within everyone. Seen for the vision of the age of Aquarius, 3 minutes. One evening, after a week of intense spiritual practice, Sophia had a profound vision. She found herself standing on the edge of a cliff, looking out at the horizon. The sky was aglow with golden light, and beneath it she saw a world in transformation. People were coming together, not separated by race, nationality, or religion, but united in a shared understanding of universal love. There were no wars, no hatred, only cooperation and compassion. The world had shifted, moving from conflict to peace, from fear to understanding. Sophia knew, without a doubt, that what she was witnessing was the dawning of the age of Aquarius, an age that Cayce had often spoken of. A time when humanity would awaken to its higher spiritual nature, when we would finally recognize that we are all connected through the same universal consciousness. In this vision, she saw herself standing among others, sharing the wisdom she had gained, helping others awaken to their divine potential. The world was changing, and Sophia was part of that change. Sophia woke up from her vision with tears in her eyes. Her heart full of hope. She knew now what she had to do. She couldn't keep this wisdom to herself anymore. She had to share it, help others awaken to their connection to the universal consciousness. She reached out to others' friends, family, even strangers who seemed lost or disconnected. She began teaching them the practices that had worked for her: meditation, visualization, self-reflection, and most importantly, the realization that they were all part of something much greater. The more she shared, the more people began to awaken. Slowly, like ripples in a pond, the energy of universal consciousness spread, touching lives far and wide. Sophia knew her journey was just beginning. The work she was doing was part of a much larger movement to spiritual awakening that was sweeping the world, one soul at a time. And as she looked out at the horizon, she felt that same golden light from her vision.